back to Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to take a look at a puzzle that was sent to me a few days ago now. It's based on the New York Times Hard Sudoku, and Bram sent this in, and he noticed something, a really nice piece of logic that I thought I would share with you. So do have a go at the puzzle first. You can see there should be a link to how you can play the puzzle just under in the video description there. And I want to talk about this because the logic Bram uses is really nice. It's really elegant, and it shows that you guys watching these videos are really thinking very, very well about how you're solving Sudoku. I'm going to caveat that very slightly in this particular instance. There was another way Bram could have got to the sort of deduction he made, and some of you may well see that way of getting there first and therefore wonder what all the fuss is about. But I really think that what he did showed a real sort of perspicacity, so that's why I want to share it with you. So without further ado, let's have a look. Sixes, this has got to be a 6. Let's pencil mark some 6s at the bottom. 1 and 7 in row 2 mean we can pencil mark some 1s and 7s into that top block. That means there must be a 7 in one of these two squares, I guess. And now look, we have a 7 here. So these 7s, this 7 and this 7 all combine to mean that's a 7, I think. Can't do anything with the 1s. Well, 3, this 3, that must be a 3, therefore this must be a 4, is that? Use the 3s with this 3, that gives us a 3 down at the bottom. 4s, so 4 in one of these two squares. Let's check this row. Look, we've got 5, 8, and 9. So that's a 5 or an 8. This is 5, 8, or 9. That's 5, 8, or 9. Let's make sure that we highlight squares. I like to highlight squares when I'm solving on paper. If I identify a square as down to just 2 possibilities, I'll always notate it. I've not been able to do that really on the computer until we've got this new software working. So this is much more akin to how I solve on paper. Now this square looks restricted, doesn't it? What can this be? It can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So it must. This is a 6. Therefore this is a 6. Look, just straightforward Sudoku. 1, 4, and 8 along this row. 1's pencil marked up there. Easy to miss that. With this 4, this is an 8. That's the only possibility for the square. And 6s now. 6, 6, and this 6 means this is a 6. And 8 mean this is an 8. 6s can be pencil marked at the bottom there. And these two squares must be 1 and 4. One's into one of those two squares. 2's into one of those two squares. I think I remember this. This is roughly where Bram did his logic. So let's talk about this now. Now what he did is he looked at this 5 and a 4 in column 1, and he noticed that in this block that would imply that a 5 is locked into one of those 3 positions there. And then he looked at this block and he noticed there was something odd going on. So let's have a think about this. Let's imagine the 5 wasn't in row 6. Let's imagine the 5s are in row 4. How does that affect the puzzle? Now if the 5s are in row 4, none of these squares can be a 5. So we'd end up with 5s being in those two positions, marrying up with the 2s we've already pencil marked. So if 5s are high here, we get a 2-5 pair. Now the only other state of existence that could exist is that the 5s are not in these two squares, but the 5's here. Now if the 5's here, notice we've already pencil marked 4s in this 3 by 3 block. So if there is a 5 here, there is a 4 in this square. And then the 4 operates on the central 3x3 block beautifully and locks a 4 into one of those two positions and gives us a 2-4 pair instead. So either way round, however the 5s are arranged, we end up with either a 2-4 pair or a 2-5 pair in these two squares. So there definitely can never be a 1 in this position. The 1 has to be here. And that's what Bram noticed. And I just think that's beautiful thinking. And I wanted to share it with you. Now, some of you, I know, will be looking at this puzzle going, I could have got that a different way. And you're right, you could have done. You could have done. But I want to applaud sort of some original thinking there. Now, the other way of doing this would be to notice, for example, that these two squares are 3 and 9. Therefore, when we think about this 4 and 5 here, how they operate on this row 6, we've got 3 squares that can take the numbers 4 and 5, because obviously this one can't. We've got this square, and this square. Now, already pencil marked, I can remove the 4s actually, already pencil marked along this row are these 2s. So we know these 2s are in these 3 squares. So once I add the 4 and the 5 in, there's actually a 2, 4, 5 triple in these 3 squares, which is a long-winded way of saying that if we studied this square very carefully, we would find this square is actually a naked single. This square can only be a 1. But frankly, I prefer Bram's way. It was much more elegant. This is a 1, and this is a 1. Now we get that from the logic that we've just been discussing. So what can we do with this now? I guess what I will do is I'll put the 2, 4, 5 triple in, because that might help me. This 3 now means this must be a 3. Look, I haven't put a 3 yet in the centre. It means it's a 3 in one of those 2 squares. Now I have to confess, I haven't actually, this must be a 4 or 5. I haven't actually gone through the rest of this solve, so if there is something monstrous stinging us in the tail, this video could be rather longer than I'm hoping, especially as I've just had a text to say I need to get downstairs to eat my dinner. Right, 2, 5, 9 to place in the column 5 here, and there's a 5 and a 9 there, so this square is a 2. And that means this is a 5 or a 9. I'm going to highlight that, and this must be a 5 or a 9. Let's make some notes. 5, 8 here, 5, 9 here. Now, now hang on. Now this 9 is interesting, because that means there's a 9 in either this square or this square. Now if we look at this 3x3 block, we've got to place the numbers 2, 5, 8 and 9 into the open positions, but we've just said these two have a 9. So these two, I don't know much about them, but I know that they must be some combination of one of the numbers 2, 5 or 8. Now look down column 4. We have 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8. There is a triple. And I can highlight that. So 2, 5, 8 triple in column 4 means what? This square can't be a 2 or a 5 anymore. This must be a 4. Therefore, this is a 5 and this is a 2. Therefore, we know this is a 5 now. Let's remove the pencil marks. Now if we look down column 2, we've got 1 7s here, so this is a 5 or a 9, and we've just found a 5, so this is a 9, oops, sorry, this is a 9, this is a 5, and that means, what do I need? I need 4 and 7, so this is a 4, this is a 7, 4, 7, 7, must be a 7 in one of those two positions. This 5 means this is a 5, that's the only place a 5 can go now, I think, in this block, because of the 5 here. This is a 5. Now that's going to be helpful, because I can see that's going to mean this is an 8, and therefore this must be a 2. Therefore this is a 9, and this is a 5, and now we are starting to get somewhere. So this must be an 8 now. This is 3 and 7, and therefore this must be 4 and 9, I think. 4 here, so it looks like that's a 4 to me. There might be a mistake there. No, that looks good. 4, 9. 9's over here. 8's up into those two squares. 3, 9, 1, 4. Okay, that looks all right. And down here we need 2, 8, 9. So this is a 2, 9. This is 2, 8, 9. Ah, this is 8. That's good. 8. Get rid of that 8 there. Oh, I don't want to pencil mark like that actually. I want to pencil mark like that, where Snyder notation is relevant. Must be a look, this 1 is nice. That forces a 1 into one of these two squares. Therefore, this must be a 7. This is a 7. Simple Sudoku, nothing clever there. 7, 7, and these two 7s. Look. So 1, 3, 4, 9 down this column, and here we've got 1, 3, and 4. So this looks like it has to be a 9 to me. Therefore, that's a 9 and that's a 2. This is a 2. That unwinds the 9 and the 3. Look. We now need 1 and 4, so this must be 1 and 4 in that order. That resolves the 1 and the 6. Means this is a 6, and hopefully, if I haven't made a mistake, that's going to be a 3. That look right? Yeah, 3, 3. 3 over here, so there must be a 3 in one of those two squares. And this 9 now is nice, because that's going to force a 9 into the square that's, oh, that square there. 9, 3, 8, like that. 3, 7, 7, 1. Now hopefully this is a 1, and if I haven't made a mistake, this should be a 5. That looks good. 1, 4, 4 here. This must be an 8, and hopefully does 5 look good? It does. So there we go. Just a quick video today on a nice puzzle, and as I say, something I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it showed real intuition. And a couple of different ways of looking at the logic too. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Any of you in a position to do so, you can sponsor us on Patreon. That's massively appreciated. You do get one of our hand-created puzzles each month, and for $3 a month you get a video on how to solve it, and that might be interesting to some of you too. Thanks for watching. Back soon with another edition.